feel like she really wants to know me. It just didn't feel good to be in the same room with her.
And I feel robbed.
I do think finance is a big part of success. I heard numbers that scared me.
I'd like to politely decline in regards to the timely manner.
Well, you forgot about me.
I don't want to hear that.
I didn't do it. You did. I'll be with you now.
Time has come for you to decide.
Do you want to stay married or get a divorce?
This is Married at First Sight.
All right, people. Welcome back to our Married at First Sight recaps. Season 18, I'm going to say episode 20. 20 episodes, wow. But it's episode 20, reunion part 2. So, as they say, we are a year from D-Day. As the season wraps up, I'll just say this, man. What do you think, and this will be the icebreaker before we get into the show, what do you think they should do to better the show or take away to make the show better, to make it a better show or a better experience? What do you think they should either add or take away?
So I think you mentioned this a lot throughout the season. Just like, where the fuck is the doctors at?
Facts.
Like,
That's a fact.
where the fuck is the doctors at? And I kept saying, well, maybe they're just trying to, let them live this experience out, let them live it out, and then they just be like, piecemealing themselves into their development. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the more and more that we like replay the season or we think about shit or we like look back at shit, I understand what you mean. Like, where the fuck were they at? Because if they were more present from day one, then maybe a lot of the train wrecks that happened this season, might not have happened. I think they tried to change up the format a little bit.
Right.
Maybe just to see like where that went, if that made any difference, maybe for ratings or whatever they were trying to play around. I don't know.
Right.
But I feel like the doctors being present more would like probably make the experience more better for not only the viewers but for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'll agree with that. And I also want to say, shout out to the people who tune into our weekly recaps and, follow us along this journey. And I also want to give you some praise because I just throw shit out. Like, Ish don't be knowing that these questions is coming. Like, I just be like, some shit just come. Like, I have my notes and some shit just comes to my mind, during the process. And you just grab it and we just
And
let it
roll
flow.
with it. Absolutely.
So if y'all don't know, this is not like a pre thing. It's like right here, right now, where she catches the questions on the spot. So shout out to you for handling my shit.
Yes, and shout out to you for coming up with the shit. Okay, that's whole fact.
Facts. So I'll agree with you in saying that the experts needed to be more present this season. We have seen them be more present. I don't know if it was budget issues. I don't know if they were going for ratings, allowing it to be a shit show. I don't know what their reasoning was, but yeah, they were out of pocket this season. So let's just get into it. I was excited to see part 2 of the reunion because we kind of left off on a cliffhanger, and I also wanted to see where Juancho and Karla was going to go and how the group talks were going to go. And I'll pull some things out, so let's just get into it. Okay. So the episode starts off with the David and Michelle wrap up, and we left off on a cliffhanger with David and Michelle, and David was being asked, or is it time? The timeline is a big thing. David was asked the question, were they together when he sent the text? And I felt like we all kind of know the answer, but they'll just never admit it. But I'm glad that they kept on asking the question. I'm not mad that they kept on asking the question. Every single stop and turn. Go ahead. What you want to say?
Okay. So I was gonna say, so you were glad because I was just like, what the fuck? Can we move past this question that they're never going to answer? And I think for me, I was just like, I know they ain't never going to answer it truthfully. I
Right.
know that every single time it's going to be off the mark by 1 centimeter. Like I just, you can just tell like straight from the beginning where the lies initiated, like that it was never going to be, even if the truth came out, you're never going to get the full truth. So I know that they were intentionally like asking, re-asking at every turn. And I know that it is, come on, I'm gonna sock you every time you turn around. I'm gonna ask you the same dumbass question. Boom, boom. I knew it, but I was just over because they was never gonna answer it
Yeah,
correctly.
I just wasn't mad at it because I feel like they're just like, maybe we can catch them trip up, maybe we can catch them on a slip, like like maybe one party is just going to be like, man, I'm tired of asking this shit. Let me just fucking say it. So I'm not mad that they kept repeatedly asking it because we wanted to hear them say it, even though we know that they're never going to say it.
Right.
All right. So David said, they weren't together when he sent the text. He said that they had been out a couple times and they were like light flirting. And he said it was not like nothing solid yet. So for him, it was more like target practice, like shooting my shot, trying to see if I still got it, X, Y, and Z. How do you feel about target practice in general or harmless flirting? Because, the slow people might not know what target practice is.
Target practice is harmless flirting.
So how do
and then
you
I could
feel
go
about
into my questions because it's on the same line of this.
Okay.
But how do I feel? I think target practice is I think for some it could be beneficial because it could be like, sharpening your skills and making sure, you're up on like how to, operate or just interact with the opposite sex, even if you are, say, like in a relationship or a partnership or whatever the case may be, like it's still fun and it's still interesting to like communicate and engage with the opposite sex. Harmlessly is cool, it's fun. And it gives you like sometimes a good feeling on the inside. So I'm not opposed to it. And I think it can be cool when there are boundaries and the certain limits, like the person that's actually, in their mind having the target practice, like, okay, this is what I'm zoned in on, this is what I'm doing. And if they have their boundaries in line and in order and together, then I think it's cool. I think some people don't know, like they want to target practice, but then they let that shit just go
out of hand.
Out of hand. And then it's no longer target practice. Now we shooting the shot and it's being shot and boom. Like, you know what I mean? So I guess, it's all good and dandy when it stays within the boundaries of it. And harmless flirting, I think is exactly just that, harmless.
All right. Before I answer, go ahead and ask your question.
So that's what I was getting ready to say. Like, are you like a flirtatious partner? Do you have a problem with like your partner if she's like flirtatious harmlessly? And I don't mean like being in front of you or you being in front of her and just blatantly like flirting with somebody.
When she's away doing her own thing.
Like when she's away doing her own thing or whatever. Like, and then she can say, yeah, I know he's a flirt, and so what? Like, or I know she's a flirt, and so what? Like, what do you feel about those things? Like, where do you fit in on the scale?
No, I'm not in the possessive or insecure or controlling um qualities or characteristics. So those kinds of things don't really bother me. Um I'm not mad at no harmless flirting or, target practice, none of that. I will say that I am more or less a flirt.
Hmm.
Just natural, my natural personality. And
Hmm.
sometimes that does get me in trouble because everybody, you know, can't handle that. A lot of people do have insecurities based around that. So
Hmm.
sometimes that does get me in trouble. Like I could just be like, I wasn't like doing anything. Like I was just like saying hi or being social. Like I was just
Right.
like being cordial.
Hmm.
So yeah, to me, and even if I'm trying to do like target practice, I know my boundaries and I normally wouldn't go past my boundaries. Only time I would go past my boundaries is if, and this is like probably not always a good thing, but depends on how you carrying it. Where are we?
Hmm.
Depends on where are we, because if we're in a great space, then I probably wouldn't even be thinking about target practice.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I think all of that factors in it where we are in our current relationship. I think that we should do target practice with each other even when like in a relationship.
That's facts. That's facts. But I think some people lose that.
That's a
Like
fact.
some people definitely lose that. I think they just get so like bogged down with like either everyday shit
Right.
or focusing on the wrong shit or whatever the case may be that they can't like zone in on what's important. And that is remaining in a good space and being loving and that connection and being flirtatious and light and fun and you know what I mean? And all of that good stuff. Like people just get so bogged down with everything else that they lose that type of shit. They don't know
Not
nothing about flirting within the
right.
relationship. Who really does
Not
that?
not not only do they forget about it, like some people think that it's not even necessary. Some people think that it's
Mhm.
like, I got you. Why I gotta do that? Like, why I gotta say you look cute today? It's
Yeah, that's
like,
fact.
what?
Yeah, that's fact.
So that is a thing to where sometimes not only is it forgotten,
Mhm.
people think that it's not necessary anymore, but it's always necessary to continuously give that love and attention to your partner,
Mhm.
to compliment your partner, to even like do like the role play and shit. Like when I'll meet you at a bar and pick you up at a bar or some shit. Like
Mhm.
those things are still important.
Very much so. Very much so. Well, David was definitely trying to get his flirt on. Okay.
And like I said, that comes from how he was being treated at home.
Hmm.
So we have to be mindful of that side of it. If
Yeah,
if
facts.
you're being mean to your partner, you can't really be mad that your partner's entertaining attention when you're being mean to them. That's why you
Right.
shouldn't be mean to your partner.
Yeah, that's facts.
It's a simple thing. All right, so Michelle spoke to, and we spoke about this a little bit. She said, "I'll never get the full truth, but the text implies that they've already been physical." Now, if you read that text, do you feel the same way? Like, say right now, you're talking to somebody, and then they accidentally send you that text. Do you feel the same way?
So I think I had said in like one of the previous shows that they sent that text like ain't no way they ain't fuck or they ain't no
Mm,
way they wasn't like in a physical space or whatever the case may be. But
mm,
like I thought about it and just like it doesn't necessarily mean that
mm,
it doesn't necessarily mean that they had to have been in the physical space.
mm.
Um, but I think it has known that like it has been known that they were in that flirtatious space. But
Right,
it doesn't necessarily mean that they like stepped over those boundaries. So
right.
I kind of like ate my words a little bit with that. And I thought about that just in this past episode. Like, that don't necessarily mean that, especially when
Right.
they tackled on the text again. She was
Right.
like, oh, that means that you were physical with her or you were going to eat something up later. And that
Right.
doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
mean
that don't
anything.
mean that. That don't
No,
mean that.
no.
I also want to say that my side of it is if I just met somebody or if I'm friendly with somebody, like I said before, I think I also said this. That's a natural communication for me. I don't know what prude side of the fence that a lot of people sit on, but I could be speaking to somebody that I just met that we never had sex before, that it was not even a thing. If I'm physically attracted to you and
I
you
was
look
saying that.
good, I may say, I would eat you up right now. What the fuck?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's without us having anything. We might
Mm,
not have even hugged before, but we
mm.
just may be cool on that level.
Right, right. And I think that's probably where they were. Because even when they did speak on the timeline of things, and she basically said like maybe the third week, and he was like the honeymoon,
Right,
like there was some sort of spark. I think for them, like that energy between them was early on.
right.
So by the time of that text message,
Yeah,
they was already
we
in
already
a
cool. Right.
space. We already cool, and we already cool enough for me to send that, and you're going to know or be able to receive it. Now, if we move forward on it, that's a different story, but the energy is there, and we're cool enough for me to even send that message.
But
So,
not but that's what I mean. People have to step back from the energy.
yeah.
Just step back from the physical energy.
Hmm.
Just on the fact we're cool, we can be joking like that.
Right, right, right. And but for some people from the outside looking in, they can't see that. They can't see
Right,
the
because they're
joking part of it.
prudes.
Right. They can't see there. Automatically is, oh,
Right.
y'all fucking, or
Right.
oh, y'all wanna fuck, or oh,
Right.
there's something like, and I think for others who are just like kind of free spirited and
Mm,
free flowing and especially comfortable in their sexuality and things like that, and especially with the opposite sex, like you're
right.
going to get those type of conversations that are just like natural conversations.
That's a fact. All right, I got this question and I don't know um how it's gonna bear, but I'm interested to hear your answer. So what do you think the percentage of what do you think the percentage of it is women's intuition versus the percentage of her not being fully open?
Hmm. I'm gonna say maybe for Michelle 50-50.
Okay.
The reason that I say 50-50 is because, there were times where Michelle was like very closed off,
Right.
very fucking annoying,
Mm,
very fucking like standoffish.
mm,
Um, and she was on one side,
mm,
right?
mm,
And then another side, and that could have been her, that could have played both parts. That could
mm,
have played intuition, that
mm.
could have played just her pompous attitude. That could have been a lot of things. And then the other 50-50 um was more or less her, wait, say this again, because I done got myself confused. Wait a minute.
All right. What percentage, like when she's thinking of the text
Hmm.
and all that entails, with the text, what percentage of it do you think that she's feeling it because it's her women's intuition
Okay.
or her not being fully open?
Okay. Yeah, that's why I was, because I started being too broad. We're
Yeah.
talking about the text message. So I
Right.
started being like broad in the relationship, and that's
Right.
where I got lost. Okay. So, like for the text,
Right.
mm, that text was like 95% intuition. That's honestly because in my opinion, she dug that shit out.
Right.
She
Right.
dug that shit out. That was all that the majority of that, yeah, was something else. I mean, the lesser of that was something else. The majority of that was intuition because she dug the shit out of that. She went on almost nothing and
Right.
kept asking and talking and digging or whatever the case may be. That is nothing but pure woman's intuition.
Okay. Okay. I'm not mad at that. All right. Now, when they were speaking of what they think about their ideals of success and things of that nature, Michelle says she heard some numbers that scares her. She said, I would think that somebody's living at home, their numbers would be different, meaning higher. Um, is finance a big part of success? Like in your mindset, is finance a big part of success? Because you also said you wouldn't date the bus driver.
So we will remember I said I wouldn't date the bus driver who did not have ambition.
All
But
right.
I think finances are only important to me or are only prevalent for me if in fact you just not doing shit.
Mm, okay.
Like it doesn't mean much to me um if you're at it, if
Mm,
you're getting up and you have ambition and
mm,
you're going to work and you're doing it and your mind is moving about how you want to get to it, even if it's a form of expression. Like
mm.
I might not be able to make $1,000 off of a painting, but I'm a paint anyway. Like
Right.
that to me is what's sexy.
Okay.
Like that to me is like what um drives me to do better.
Mm,
So it doesn't matter what's on the other end of it
mm,
financially,
mm.
but rather what's on it like
So you're speaking to purpose.
purpose and passionate
Mm,
about something and
mm.
just doing. And that's what so the financial portion of it, no, it doesn't matter to me.
But he also can't just be happy being a bus driver.
Yeah, facts. He can't just be happy just living in mom's basement and being a bus driver and then thinking that that is going to be enough for somebody as ambitious as I find
Okay.
myself to be at times. Like,
Okay.
I'm not always ambitious neither. Like, you know what I
Mm,
mean? Like there are times where I'm living in my mind and
right.
I can't get to it because I'm trying to get out of that. I'm not saying those type of things or individuals. I'm just saying, like, in general, like,
Mm,
if David was comfortable and chilling at his mom crib and he was okay with $30,000 a year,
mm.
that might not be the guy for me. If he was okay with that and he wasn't doing nothing else, if he wasn't trying to get a rental property
Mm.
or an investment property, and he wasn't trying to build
All right.
his
All right. So
package.
so we take it out of David and we take it off of the bus driver and you spoke to purpose. Let's say this is the teacher who's making 30, 40,000 a year, but he's passionate about his students and teaching. Is that enough? We gotta be honest, man. This is a transparency moment.
No, I know. Let me see. Okay. How can I say this nicely? Like
No, say
without
it however you want to say
no,
it.
no. Um, I think I would be okay with that temporarily
Okay. Okay. All right. That
because
kind of
I have to admire that, but I
right.
think only temporarily. I think after a while I'll be like, okay, what we talking about? Let's buy a building. Let's start some programs. Let's start some, nonprofits. Let's,
Right.
you know what I mean? Let's open up our own school. Like, I mean, you can have purpose and you can be passionate about something But maybe elevation is it for me.
Okay.
The thought of elevation.
All right, because that kind of bleeds into my next questions. Because my next question is based on, say, a long term thing. Like, do you think that this could be long term? Because people say that they want or they value genuine love over financial security, but they are very rarely happy and content in that space. So that
Hmm.
is the question. Do you think? Well, you kind of said no, that wouldn't last for you long term.
Yeah, because um I think sometimes things fizzle and things become mundane.
Right.
Even if you have passion in certain things and you're living and you're content,
Mm,
I feel like there's a fizzle that happens
mm,
because you just live in that one track. Like you're just staying and you're passionate about that. But your passion doesn't develop or it doesn't overflow into other areas. And sometimes it doesn't overflow into your relationship
right.
because, you just so every day, one track mind, same thing over and over. And even if you have passion for that, it just doesn't overflow and develop into other parts of your life or your relationship. And I think that's what's bothersome for me.
Okay. Because I always reference back to the House of Gucci because I would rather be happy in the projects per se than miserable in the penthouse.
Hmm.
So that's how I see it.
Hmm.
Um, and my last question on this, because we speak about people saying grow up all the time and things of that nature. And Michelle said, yeah, if I was younger, I would probably be okay with certain things. So does age play a part in your decisions?
I think they do. I think maybe some people will try to seem like it really doesn't.
Mm,
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I think it really does. I think the older that you become, you see the clearer picture, like for your life and the direction that you see it going. And if somebody doesn't align with that, or somebody, doesn't fit into a specific mold for you, then it matters.
mm,
It definitely matters. Whereas if we was 20, 25, or whatever the case may be, we're all the shit.
right,
What? Crash
right,
out, bomb out, whatever. Let's have it.
right.
But the older we get, we get a little more um
Responsible,
in
they would say.
tune and responsible, correct. Yep.
I'm kind of like 50-50 in that because I wouldn't say as we get older to crash out because yeah, we too old to be crashing out. But I
Hmm.
will say that I wouldn't want to spend my last years being so serious. Like I
Hmm.
still want to have fun my last years. I don't want
Hmm.
to be like, no, because I'm on this path and X, Y, and Z and not allowing space and time to still have fun.
Hmm. So does fun equate risk?
Sometimes yes.
Okay.
Sometimes
Because
yes.
that could be like where my mind is going more or less. Like, how in our 20s, or, our when we 17, 18, or whatever the case may be, our fun equaled risk at
Right.
times.
Right. That's a
Like, you know
fact.
what I mean? It definitely did. Um, but I think the older that we got, like our fun now may be limited in risk.
See, I don't agree with that.
Okay. Okay.
I'm still with the rest. I'm still with the
Mhm.
yeah, we may be doing 70, 80 on the freeway, get being nasty at the same time. I'm still
Mhm.
with it.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I still wanna I will still take the risk. I still want the
Mhm.
fun. Like
Mhm.
sometimes fun comes with risk.
Right. Right.
And I'll take the risk because I
And
still
you
want to
take
have
it.
fun.
Now, is the risk like only certain risks? Like,
I
Are
mean, that's
you
what I said. We're not gonna crash out, but
fully right?
will I run a red light? Yeah.
Hmm. So give me an example of crashing out to you.
Crashing out would be like something that can like get us some serious time. Now,
Okay.
will I do something where we may spend a day or two in jail? Maybe I
Okay.
would. Maybe I would.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. But not a full crash out.
Yeah, but not a
Where
full crash out. Like we ain't going to jail for no years, and unless it's very
right.
necessary.
Right. I got you. Okay.
But yeah, I'm still open to the risk. Like some people may feel like we're too old to like go in the bathroom and get it popping.
Yeah, no. What?
I don't think that there should be an age limit on that.
Yeah,
Like,
like get out of here.
nah, I still want to do some shit.
Right.
Like, there's just several things that people just view as,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we've been there and done that, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
too old for that X, Y, and Z. And a lot of those things are still fun to me and maybe risky, and I still would do.
Right. Right. Now, I think like as we're talking through this, like I think I am cool with like that type of shit.
Hmm.
I think um but I would expect somebody to be more progressive in regards to stability. Um, like I don't play around about like where we gonna live, how our bills getting paid, what's up in our savings account. Like I
So
don't
so
play like
let's stay
that.
right there. So let's stay right there. So let's say there's a month where we want to do some shit, but we got certain bills or expenses that pop up, and I might still take the risk.
Yeah, but that's what our bounce back is for. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's what
Like
I'm saying.
we
It's
gonna
going
get back. Like we gonna get back. But at
right.
this
That's
moment, I'm still gonna take the risk.
and I'm with that. Like, do you know why? Because it said, oh yeah, that's what our bounce back is for. Like some people just be taking the risk and doing things, and then there is none of that.
Right.
And that's what's the scary part.
Okay.
So if you can find a partner or a person that has that bounce back or that ambition to get back on track no matter what, we can rock.
Okay. Okay. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Y'all let us know in the chat in the comment section. Are you too old for the risk, or are you still with the shits, man? Like I said, we're not gonna go on a full crash out, but I'm also not gonna sit on this porch and just drink lemonade all day. It's like,
Right.
I need some excitement in my life, is what I'm saying as well.
Hmm.
Like, what are we doing? All right. Then Michelle admitted that she can be judgmental. She said she does have work to do on herself. Um, and also she has to do some digging or thinking into knowing what she wants. So, what are your thoughts on what she said about herself, and where do you stand as far as those questions or sentiments?
Hmm. I think it was cool that she took accountability for like her, for her shortcomings.
Right,
Like, here's what I need to work on. Here's what I'm having. Here's what I had issues with. Here's where I like kind of developed a keen eye for the shit and the issues that I have that I need to work on in order for, you know, a friendship, a partnership, or anything to be kind of have decent and successful. Like, you know what I mean? I know that I need to work on these things. The problem with Michelle is like she acknowledged those things
but not changing
early
shit.
on, but not changing anything. And I noticed that a lot. Like people do this. They be like, yeah, I know this is what I need to work on. Yeah, this is what I have a problem with. Yeah, X, Y, and Z. And then don't do shit
Right,
because then they're actually repeating the
right,
cycle. So it's like, it's cool when you take accountability, but is it real accountability?
right.
Because you're not actually doing anything. Um, so I mean, I thought it was cool. Like she sees it, but the next step is to actually rectify it.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right. So the second part of the question was, where do you stand as far as those questions and sentiments? Like, do you know exactly what you want, or do you feel like you still have work to do on yourself and figuring out what you want?
Yeah. Um, it's always work to be done, always a work in progress. Um, and definitely a work in progress in regards to, you know, knowing specifically what you want at times. I
Mhm.
think for me, I'm a very like go with the flow type of individual. And so, like, I'm not systematic in the sense that I need to have X, Y, and Z. And so I think the older that I get, I feel like sometimes that could be a little tricky
Right.
because I like to just go on energy maybe and how things flow or whatever the case may be, and not necessarily holding people to a specific way that I need it to be done.
Mm,
Um, so I feel like that's my setback or downfall sometimes.
mm.
But yeah, I definitely need to do some work, and I think that's the area that I need to do work on. And I'm okay with like, individuals who feel like, Ish, you need to be a certain way, or not, Ish, you this, that, and the third. You need to focus a little bit more. Yeah, I'm okay with people that have an opinion about that, but like Michelle, she doesn't care one way or the other
Right.
where she should. Like
Right.
I care,
Right.
but I just don't care about what people think about the process. Like
Right.
you have to have some way to process
Mm,
through it. Do you
right.
understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like you have to have some way that you can process through your shit.
That's a
She
fact.
don't seem like she can process through her shit.
That's a fact.
So
That's a
she's
fact.
like stuck. So
Right.
she's not making those changes to process through her shit, which means that she's going to always hit a brick wall.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right. I'll just say, yes, like you said, there's always work to be done on yourself. But
Hmm.
for the most part, I think I'm done with the journey of knowing exactly what I want. I think I for sure know exactly what I want. That's why I can for sure spot exactly what I don't want because I for sure know exactly what I want. So yeah, there's always going to be work, or you're always going to be, or you should be on a continuous journey of bettering yourself. But me personally, I know exactly what I want. All right. If you were Michelle, could you be cordial or friends with David and Madison after all of this?
Nope.
Nope.
Nah, I would be cordial. I would be cordial, just like she said. Well, we can be cordial, but I don't need to be, all up in
Friends.
the sauce with y'all.
Okay.
So I would be like that. Yeah.
Um, I think my pettiness doesn't allow me to be cordial or friends.
Not even cordial.
Yeah, because there's no separation for me. Like
Hmm.
if I'm gonna be cordial with you, I might as well be your friend, and vice
Right.
versa. So it's like it's either I'm going to be everything or I'm going to be nothing. Like I don't
Hmm.
like doing halfway shit. I don't like speaking to people that I don't really fuck with. That's what cordial is to me. Like
Right.
you're cordial enough to speak to somebody that you don't really fuck with. And to me, I don't like that. Like
Right.
if I don't really fuck with you, I'm not gonna speak to you. We can be in the same vicinity and not be a thing, but I'm not gonna like, hey, how you doing? How's the kids? I'm not nah. You stay over there and I'm gonna stay over here. And we gonna
Right.
keep it cute.
And we're gonna keep it cute. And we're gonna keep it moving.
Yes, that's how I like to keep it.
Gotcha. Hmm.
All right. Let's move on to Gay Wancho and Karla. Now, first and foremost, I want to say free Juancho from the cartel. Um, we got a free Juancho from the cartel. What's the problem? He's a
I
little
free
boy.
Wancho from the cartel.
He's
I
a little
can't.
boy. He thought he was never going to see his parents ever
Parents
again.
again.
The cartel is trying to kidnap him.
I
Free
can't.
Juancho. Free
Hilarious.
Juancho from the cartel. All right, now Ish sent me a video that Juancho had dropped, and we're gonna play a portion of that now here for y'all. And then first we'll go through their exit video before we dive into what Juancho said in that video. So here's the video for y'all, and then we'll revisit this at the end of this.
And, you know, there's been a few places online where people have said that I've robbed Karla of the opportunity to find love on this show. And Karla didn't rob me of anything, and I didn't rob Karla of anything either. Look, when you go on Married at First Sight, you don't have no contractual obligation to love, cherish, respect, or anything. I mean, you've seen it season after season where a person is not into the other person and they're literally mean to them. And I never was that. You know, I wasn't into Karla for very obvious reasons. Number one, you know, I think she's a pretty girl, but everyone has their type and she's just not my type. You know, she is just not my type. You know, physically, she's just not my type. Number two, you know, she let her lease run out and moved into a storage unit. I get it. You wanted to save money while you're filming the show. But, you know, I wasn't very fond of that. I mean, that's just not showing me responsibility, and it's not showing me stability, you know, which I was fine with. I helped her move into the storage unit. You know, I didn't make a big deal about that, whatever. She lost her job, and she actually got fired from that job because she didn't see eye to eye with her boss. That's fine, but listen, this was all televised. Even though maybe I didn't make a huge deal out of it, you guys saw I wasn't necessarily happy. She had no plan. I asked her about her plan, and she had no plan. She had a job that she booked in New York, which she didn't even have a rate for. Okay, whatever. You know, we went on. I respected her. Her lifestyle, look, I respect it. I don't disrespect her lifestyle, but it doesn't align with me. You know, I'm not into the tarot. I'm not into the burning of the sage all every day, Palo Santo. If my mom is Catholic and my brother reads tarot, it doesn't define me. You know, we just didn't align. Like, I'm not into the crystals. It's too much. It was just too much for me, you know, like, and it's not like I didn't talk about it. I did talk about it on the show. I'm not into that. You know, Karla on the show, like, you could just tell, like, she doesn't really know how to cook. I mean, in one of the episodes, she didn't know how to turn on a gas oven. You know, she didn't really help me clean the apartment much. For me personally, those are things that are things that are, like, you know, core values that they weren't in line with my lifestyle. And at the end of the day, I saw no future with Karla.
All right. Now, Karla said she knew from the beginning that she was a free spirit, and he's a think shit out kind of person. So she said she kind of knew that was going to always be an issue. Do you think those two mindsets, outside of Juan and Karla, could work?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. I think they can work. I don't think it'll be easy. I think there will always be some button of the heads. I think it'll always be some, you know, tug of war of the minds. Like, I don't think it'll be easy, but I think if that's your person, or if that's somebody that you truly want to be with and that you truly want things to work with, that you guys will find like a happy medium and a common ground.
Right.
So I do think two different minds. But if you're always stubborn, if you don't know anything about compromise, if you really don't give a fuck and you really don't want it to work, no, they're not gonna work. Nope.
I think people force it to work, but I don't think it actually works. So I think people can be content inside of it, or Jedi mind trick themselves to think that they're being they're content.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that it could work, period. I just think
Mm-hmm.
that you force yourself to make it work.
Okay. It's
That's what
funny
I
that you say that because I was having a conversation just about this exact same thing.
think.
And I said exactly what I said to you. But in the interim, I also said, but the moment that the analytical person does not feel safe and secure with the free flowing person,
Right.
they're on to something else because they're going to look and try to find something that is very similar to their analytical behavior.
Right.
And that person said, well, no, not if they want it to work. And I said, yeah, but even when you want it to work, your analytical mind is going to
Right.
have you driven to the analytics.
Facts.
The free flowing person and just going with the flow or whatever the case may be is not going to be sufficient enough for you to feel comfortable and to feel safe and to be in your space in your zone. So I just think that you're absolutely right in that. And I didn't get it until you just said it now.
Okay. Well, that's what I do. Sorry.
That's what you do.
That's what I do. All right. So Wancho said, yeah, most people just leap first and then find out later that they don't really, like the person. They were engulfed in the lust or the physical or whatever it may be. And I agree with him to a degree, but I also think there should be like a middle ground in that. What was your thoughts when he said his response to why he was banned, how he was banned was to figure because he didn't want to just leap and fuck himself up mentally in the physical. What was your thoughts?
Hmm, I didn't buy none of Wancho shit. I really didn't. Like, I heard it. It sounded good and cool. Like, Wancho, if that's what you want us to believe, then cool. Do I believe it? Nah. Like, I felt like he found the opportunity to lean into that. Like, I think just as he stated in the statement or the video or whatever the case may be, he already had in his mind that Carla wasn't his type or Carla wasn't whatever, like from the gates. And so then he said, okay, but here's what I'm going to do. He wasn't attracted to her and then said, you know what? I'm going to pump the brakes on the attraction and I'm going to focus my mental just on getting to know her as an individual, as a person, and all the layers in between. Like that wasn't the way that it was. It was, all right, that's not my type.
Right.
I'm not. And we found this out later,
Right.
but it's not my type or whatever the case may be, but I'm still going to try to
Right.
get to know her.
Right.
So, he tried to make it seem as if that's what he led with when really it was.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, like you were saying, he said it had nothing to do with her physical appearance. He said all of the issues came from her lifestyle. He said, it's just not who he is. It's not a thing that he wants to be a part of. Is there anything about somebody's lifestyle that will completely turn you off?
Um, I don't know. Um,
Like they're a goat hoarder, like whatever.
yeah, that probably will be one. I mean, I can't put my finger on like say something like specific, but there definitely would be things that would like steer me the other way. Um, and it wouldn't even matter to me specifically like what it is.
Right.
It would just be how you move in it
Right.
for me. Like I'm just so like I'm the free flower, the free
Right.
spirit. So
Right.
You can be a goat herder, a hoarder, whatever. Like you can be that. What's
Right.
your spirit like in it? What
Right.
what you moving like? Is you moving like you know, drive a G wagon and we get into this paper and we stay like it doesn't matter to me. It's how you move in it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. I would have to think about specifics
Right.
to determine if somebody's lifestyle would could turn me off. I mean, it has to be something like extreme. Like I don't think
Right.
the things that he was speaking about was enough to
Mm-hmm.
be a turn off for me. It would
Mm-hmm.
have to be something extreme. Like I say all the time, like how people down talk strippers or anything of that nature.
Right.
Strippers be some of the coolest girls. They actually are better to have. They're the most real and open people to have conversations with because they walk around naked all day. They have like a free mind,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't like hold back or they don't like speak from a certain place. Like they just speak freely. Like they most strippers be some of the coolest people you can ever have a conversation with.
Right. Right.
And the same comes from how people be like, well, if she has a high body count or if she fucked the whole neighborhood, and this is like,
Mm-hmm.
where are y'all finding these virgins from, and who wants the virgin?
Right.
Like your girl previously fucked somebody before you,
And
and does it matter? Like, what the fuck does that matter? Like, you fucked more girls before you met her. Did she be like, no, you fucked too many girls? Like, what are we talking about? Like,
right. Why are we talking about it?
right.
Right.
So yeah, it would have to be something extreme. Like even times like I have trouble like with people who are like smokers or borderline alcoholics, like even those
Mm-hmm.
things, if it's not in my presence and it's not like you falling down drunk or you can't operate, if you not you 24/7 high, there's like I said, there's always middle grounds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's always middle ground. So if like you smoke but you don't smoke around me, or you drink but you're not always drunk, then
Right.
if I really fuck with you, I'm not that's not a deal breaker for me.
Right.
Right. So your lifestyle, it has to be something extreme, and I don't think the things that he was speaking about was enough for him to warrant how he
Yeah.
was.
Now, while you're in that space, like, what did you think in regards to like the cooking and the cleaning? How, as a
We didn't get
man,
there yet.
okay. See, I be on the wavelength. I just be too fast with it.
We're going to get there in a second. We didn't get there
Okay,
yet. We're
got
going to
it.
get there in a second. All
Got it.
right. So Carla said during the honeymoon, she knew it was over or she was done because Juan moves independently and he's not considerate of others. So would that be a deal breaker for you?
Yeah. Not the moving independently portion, but you can be considerate of your shit.
Right.
You don't have to be inconsiderate to move how it is that you need to move. Like, you know what I mean? I think it's a skill
Right.
to be able to move independently and do what it is that you need to do and want to do and still be considerate of your partner and what it is that they do and how they move, etc. And like all of that stuff. So yeah, I would feel the same way on that.
Um, would you have moved forward though? Because she did still move forward.
Yeah, I think that's that benefit of the doubt thing. I think that's that, okay, this can go either way, so let me just flow with it.
Mm,
That's that free flower,
right.
free thinking type individual that will just be like, okay, I see this in him or I see this in her or
Right.
whatever. And I'm still going to choose to just like go with the flow,
Mm,
see how it go. It could go one way or the other. I could be overthinking it. I could be over assessing it. It could not even go the way that I'm thinking it may go. But I'm
right.
just going to rock with it and see what we come up with. And I think that's what she did, I probably would do the same thing.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. All right. Then his response was, or he was explaining himself out, like he said he was not. Excuse me. He said he was not all in because I just met her like 4 days ago. I don't know her. He said I see all the other husbands buying massages or doing things for their wife, and he was like, I can't fathom doing those things because I don't know Shorty. So was Juan right for being cautious or patient, or was he just being cheap, or was he cheating the process? Because he said day one, I'm not taking care of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what do you think how Juan was basing on his basis of not being all in because he didn't know her?
Yeah, I think he definitely cheated the process with that way of thinking. Like, my thing is, all right, cool. As a man, you could have a certain way that you move and you operate. Like,
Mm,
you might not want to necessarily take care of a woman, or you might see things in a woman, you're like, nah, I'm not really doing that. But the simple fact that you did this process, you got married, you have a wife, and that you didn't even want to do the smallest of things, to give
mm,
her a massage or to do whatever, let's just say, like,
mm.
it it just shows that he had his own walls up
Yeah, right.
that didn't allow him to fully and truly experience the process, um, for whatever predisposed mind
It's the
blockages he had.
cartel. It's the
Yeah, it's the
cartel.
like, the what?
It's the cartel, man.
Yeah, he started sounding a little crazy to me during these parts. Like, not crazy, but like, Juan, what?
Right. All right. So she was trying to like enlighten him, I would say. And she was saying it's not like actually about the gifts, it's like about the thought, and showing, that you care about the person. Whether you care about them or not, it's the effort.
Yeah.
That's the best word, I guess. It's the effort and making an effort to show that you're trying to, work the steps or work the process or get to know somebody, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
And he said, I show that I care by being loyal, being faithful, being honest, being respectful, etc., etc. These are the words that he used. Now, do those things deserve credit for showing that you care, or are they innate things that you're supposed to do in said situation? Like, are those words overrated or underrated?
I'm not giving you no, yeah, those, they are overrated. Like, I'm not giving you no kudos for things that you're supposed to do if you choose to be in a relationship or a partnership.
Mm,
That's a given.
right.
Sure. Am I going to be like, oh my God, you're an amazing man because of all of those qualities? But I'm not giving you pats on the back, and I'm not giving you big ups because you're doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing when you sign up to be in a committed relationship. I felt like, he gave those things and he offered those things, and he wanted a praise just for that. But these are things that you signed up for. This is
Right.
what you're on a show for. You're on a show to be married, to give
Mm,
loyalty, to give respect, to give honor, or whatever the other things that he listed. And it's like, okay, and what are you doing above and beyond that? Right?
facts.
Because those are
Facts.
things that you are supposed to, not supposed to do, I take that back, but those are things that you would already think come naturally with the
Right.
commitment that you've chose to make.
Right. Right. Like I always say, I think those are innate things.
Hmm.
Like you said, those are things that just supposed to be naturally in the process.
Right.
Um, I don't like how people put so much like, but I was loyal. Like I didn't even like say good morning to you, but I was loyal. This is like what?
Right. Right. Wild work. That's
Yeah,
wild work.
yes. It'd be like what? That don't even like really make sense to me. But
Right.
you know, everybody
Yeah.
doesn't know everything, and that's why these conversations are important and there are good learning and teaching points because people will stand on those shits. People will stand on those
Yeah.
things that Juan said and be like, I did all of that. So I didn't have to do all of that. And be like, what?
Right. Right.
So you didn't have to
And
say good morning to me because you're loyal?
right, exactly. Exactly. And I think too, and I'm going to be honest with you, like thinking of conversations and stuff that I've had with women just like over the years, like whoever, friends or just acquaintances or whatever. Like I feel like sometimes women get lost in that.
That's a fact.
Like they get lost in, well, he was loyal.
That's a
So
fact.
it's okay that he stalks me every now and again.
Facts, facts,
Oh, he was loyal. It's okay that he calls me a bitch every 3 days.
facts,
Like mean, or that
facts.
tells me that I should be doing X, Y, and Z. Like I feel like sometimes not only do men like or women, it doesn't have to be gender based, like men or women do it. I'm loyal, I'm this, I'm that. They lean into that, but I also feel like the opposite party leans into it sometimes as well
That's a
and gives
fact.
those passes for that.
That's a fact. All right, now, do you like Wancho was saying or asking? Do you think Wancho didn't live up to expectations, or like Karla said, he just forgot about me?
Did he not live up to expectations, you said?
Right. Like he said, I feel like I didn't live up to the expectation. He said, I feel like I let you down. I didn't live up to the expectations that you had for me. And she said, I didn't really have expectations for you. You just forgot about me.
Hmm. Yeah, like that was heavy.
Right.
That was heavy what she said
Right.
because I think that he wanted to be like. I felt like that statement was sort of passive aggressive.
It was. It was. It was.
Like,
He was saying he was basically like trying to put it on her and say you had these expectations of me and I didn't live up to your expectations, so that's why we didn't work out. And it's like, no, I didn't have expectations for you. You just didn't
right,
do shit, nigga.
right. You just didn't do anything. You didn't even think about me.
Right.
You didn't even think about me. So yeah, I feel like she made a profound point with
Right.
that statement. And I don't think he got it. I think even
He definitely
then
didn't
it
get it.
went even when she said it,
Right.
like I think it went over his head and he just went,
Right.
that stupid ass, dumb ass smile that Wancho had.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. All right. Then Wancho was like throughout the season and throughout the video and throughout the reunion, Wancho talked all this shit about Karla being too spiritual. And then out of nowhere, he says, I needed to go on a vacation to get grounded with nature. And then he says, me and my new girlfriend were on the same vibration. These are all spiritual things, Wancho. So
Just facts.
was Karla too spiritual or free, or was Karla just her person too much for him?
Yeah, her person was just too much for him. I don't think I'm gonna be honest, like he made these excuses or
Right,
things or whatever the case may be, and they just had no grounds or basis and validity for me anyway. Like, and I think Carla felt the same way, like her eyes, her
right.
face, her body language throughout the whole time that they were talking was just like, Juan, you're full of shit.
Facts.
However, um, I feel like certain things flow with certain people.
Right,
So
right,
he could have some of that in him, but the way that she brought it across was just not his style, not his flavor.
okay,
And she wasn't his style or his flavor. But
okay.
let him be in a different space. He
It's
all
cool.
It's cool.
It's
He
cool.
all with it. got his big titty, big ass, wide hip bitch.
She
It's like,
was
let me
big.
stop.
No, she was big. She was big.
And he just wasn't, feeling the little Carla.
All right, I just want to say, Juancho, you might not know this, but a person who has that kind of spirit that Carla has should be loved and appreciated, because most people are pessimistic people. Most people are not optimistic people. So even though, sometimes she's a little dippy, I'll take her like personality trait over somebody who's overly serious all the time and like mean or nagging or whatever it may be. I would rather her style than the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Then they spoke about communication. And this is my question. Um, why does communication change when you become romantically involved?
Because people's perspective change.
What you mean?
So when when people are not in relationships, it's easier, it's free flowing, there's no expectations, there's no thoughts of what you want the responses to be, because it doesn't fucking matter what the responses are going to be.
Right.
You ain't my nigga.
Right. Okay.
That's somebody else's fucking problem.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? But when you get into a relationship or into a partnership with people, the communication shifts, in my opinion, because
Right.
then you're looking for a certain response. In your
Right.
mind, you have a certain way that you want things to go, and they don't necessarily go that way. Like,
Right.
they're not necessarily so. For instance, if we're talking and I ask a person that I know nothing about,
Right.
that I'm just getting to know, or whatever the case may be, and I say, what do you think about marriage? And
Right.
they give a true and honest answer.
Right.
It don't matter to me, because I'm just getting to know you.
Right.
This gives me a feeling of, hey, I like this person, or hey, no, I don't know what I'm feeling about this person. But you ask that same question in a relationship or in a partnership or somebody that you've been dealing with for some time, and you say, hey, okay, so let's talk about marriage. What are your thoughts on that? Because you're obviously having this conversation because you might just want to marry this nigga. Well,
Right.
you're going to want the conversation to go a certain way. And then, boom, all bets are off. Derail the train because it's getting ready to jump off the train. Seriously. I
And
think that's what happens. I think after you get in a relationship, your mind and your heart wants things to be a certain way.
right.
And so you need it to be that way. And if it's not that way, if it's not said that way, if it's not done that way, if it doesn't feel the right way.
And that's what I think the problem is. You lose your freedom of speech. Like
Yep.
you lose your freedom of speech. Like you
Yep.
you you lose the option of just giving your raw,
Hmm.
natural things. It's like now I got to think about everything, how I fucking answer this shit. Before we
Hmm.
were just talking, I could just fucking say whatever it is. Now I gotta be like,
Hmm.
wait a minute.
Hmm.
let
That's
me
fact.
think before I speak.
That's fact.
And I think that fucks a lot of shit up. I think so.
Hmm.
That fucks a lot of shit up. All right. It seems like Juancho and Karla, even though Karla said she didn't want to be friends with him, but now they kind of cool. Seems like they closer now as friends.
Hmm.
Like they talking more. It's like whatever. It's like, well, how
Right.
you even know he went on a fucking nature walk? Y'all talking all the time, bitch.
Y'all talking all the time. Right. Right. I do agree. I do agree. I do agree.
So, all right, now let's dive into your Wancho video. Now, where would you like to begin?
Mm, 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 mm.
Because it was a lot said.
It was a lot
He
said,
he
but
got a lawyer. He's being bullied.
yes,
It was a lot said. But go ahead. Where you
he's
want to begin?
being, yes. Um, I just feel like Juan is just overly sensitive. Like, I feel like he's probably not really being bullied, but in his mind, he's just, you know, Carla's folks could have been like, yo, you doing X, Y, and Z. And he like, oh my God, they're bullying me. Like,
Right.
I don't know if I've really bought into this video. If you know her, tell her to relax.
Right.
I don't know the purpose of the video. I don't know what he thought he was going to gain by that. He wanted it to be like a clarification
Right.
video,
Right.
like, hey, listen, I was being honest on the show. We did speak about certain things, and he had good valid points in his video. Like there was a lot of things that was, brought to light, but I also felt like he skated
Right.
during the season.
Right. Facts.
And this could, in fact, be where this energy is coming from that he's experiencing right now. Because you kind of skated through the season
Right.
on leaning into, I want to get to know, I want to get to know, I want to get to know. And you kind of like drug her along in this, I want to get to know, I want to get to know. And you really wasn't going to really fuck with her.
Right.
And they felt like she was robbed. She may even feel like she was robbed. So
Right.
I think he wanted to address things, and maybe it was one of those attempts to get people to come.
Yeah, it was definitely a ploy to get people on his side. I think it's also a case of Juancho feeling like because he has a new girlfriend now and she doesn't have a new boyfriend, it's like y'all try to make me feel like the bad guy because I got a girlfriend and I didn't pick her to be my girlfriend. So I think that's what it is. As far as Juancho saying, in the video, he like expounded on things that he should have said during the season. Like he said, I wasn't like attracted to her when earlier he said I was initially attracted to her.
Right.
But in the video, he states I wasn't attracted to her. She's not my type. Like you said, she don't cook. She don't clean. She didn't have no job. She got fired. He let the clip go. He started letting the clip go. He's like, I took her to the storage unit. She was homeless. He started saying, there's plenty of other things that I could say that were behind the scenes, but we signed the NDA, and I'm not going to say those things. But it was a whole lot of other shit that I could say, but I'm not going to say.
Right.
He said, it's like, out of respect, whatever it is, I'm not going to say those things, but there's a lot of things that I could say. So I don't know how long the video was. It seemed to be like forever.
It was like 6 minutes and some change, almost 7-minute video.
Right. Because he was unloading everything, and it started off like I'm just trying to answer for myself, or I'm just trying to like stand up for myself because I feel like people are talking about me online or saying that I robbed her, and then it went into, well, let me bash her a little bit.
Yeah. Like, well, let me tell y'all what it really could be. But I don't really want to ruin her reputation or make her look a certain way, but I'm gonna make her look a certain way by leaving it open-ended. Like, why? What is happening?
So even in the video, he's talking about things that I still feel are like superficial or surface level. Like when he's talking about her not cooking and her not cleaning the way he likes to clean and her not working and X, Y, and Z. And a lot of times people be like, they want a person or they want love. And those things shouldn't be, I know like we're grown and we have responsibilities and nobody wants to be homeless or whatever, but those things are not the grounds to when you picking somebody. Like when you're picking somebody, you should be picking somebody because of how you feel about them as a person, not whether they have the job that you want them to have or what are those extra things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where he's like misguided.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So do you think that if you were in his shoes and Carla was living out of a storage facility, remove Juan and Carla,
Right,
you and Lisa,
right.
and she was living out of a storage facility.
Is Lisa fire?
Yeah, and you can fuck Lisa. Yeah. But would she be wife material for you?
If she fire, I'm not fucking her for what she got. That's what I'm saying. People are picking people off based off of what they have.
Yeah, but okay, but you're saying the fucking part. Like, would she be your wife?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Because you're not supposed to pick people off of what they have. Like, you, in all actuality, you're supposed to teach your person. Like, you're supposed to like help them. You're not supposed to like be like, no, you're not on my level, or you're not X, Y, and Z, so I don't want
Mm-hmm.
you. That's where people go wrong, because you're picking
Mm-hmm.
somebody for other shit outside of, do you like the person?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I get you.
So yeah, you could go find somebody who's on your level or who makes more money than you, and y'all could build this legacy and all. But that don't automatically equal you liking them.
Mm-hmm.
And I
That's
think
facts.
sometimes people get confused in that, or sometimes people align their attractiveness to that,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
maybe that works for some people. I don't. This is not something that I want to partake in.
Yeah, I think that works for a lot of people.
All right.
I honestly think a lot of people
Like
do.
they'll be
Yeah.
like, I'm attracted to him because he pays all my bills. But do you like him as a person? Is what I'm asking.
Right. That's facts. 9 times out of 10, probably not.
Facts. That's why, man, Lisa, come through, Lisa. You not homeless no
Right.
more. You live with me now, Lisa.
But
We
like if
good.
you would say X Tim in that, how many of those
Most
10?
men would feel that way.
Okay.
That's not a thing for men. That's a women thing. Like,
Hmm.
men don't look at women who are down on their luck or who don't have a job or whatever it may be and be like, no, she's not even worth it, or she's not valuable enough for me to even entertain. I might fuck her, but I'm not gonna wife her. No. If I'm not saying that she just could be flat out a bum, but
Right.
if she like has potential, then yeah, we
Okay.
rock it.
Okay. I just was asking because I mean we see a lot of times a lot of the conversations from men like, well, what more do you have to bring to the table than just being fire or just good looks or just pussy or whatever the case may be? What do
Right.
you do? Do you cook? You clean? What type of job do you have? What type of career do you have? Like these are a lot of the main conversations that men are having. And
Right, but let's stay right there. Let's stay right there
hmm
because, like Juan said, Carla didn't cook, clean, and she got fired, right? But Carla was also loving, caring, supportive. She had other things, is what I'm saying. So when
right,
people would do that, what else you bringing to the table? She wasn't bringing nothing,
right. She had some stuff.
right?
And there were other things. So I guess it is just all dependent and based on what it is that you want as an
Right,
individual, that you want your person to have.
right. Yeah, she wasn't. She wasn't bringing nothing. Bringing nothing is different. Now,
Right.
if you're bringing nothing, then that's different. That's a whole different conversation. But if you have other things and you have the potential, like you might not have a job, but I could put you on to a job, or you come work for me now. However it may be, it's like I don't think people should always just eliminate people because of their financial fucking status.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I get you. I agree.
Uh, as far as the video though, Wancho, I don't even think that video was necessary.
No,
How
I
much
don't.
fucking bullying it could be, Wancho? He's talking
That's all.
about I'ma sue them because they're blackmailing me. They're forcing me to, like, I gotta say good things about Carla and I don't really want to. It's like, what is happening right now?
Now he gotta say good things about
That's
her.
what he said.
I know. I just was like, Ron Wood. That's what I was saying too. Like he was definitely being like a sensitive, Sal in
Right,
this video because it's just like really like, come on, like you're acting like a child right now, Juan. Like
right,
you can't take some social criticism.
right. That's a fact. Like that, and that, like, lastly on that whole thing is like that's why there was a video where I saw a girl posting. It's like, all right, you may be X, Y, and Z, but the way that you treat him is why he would pick the girl that's lesser than you because she's treating him better than you're treating him.
Hmm.
So that's the main thing that I would say a lot of men are looking for because I don't need
Right,
you to come and pay my bills.
right,
I need my
right,
back rubbed. How about
right,
that?
right, right, right. What's up? What's up with that?
Facts.
Right.
So that's what it is, man. All right, let's move into the guys had a little chat. All right,
Mm-hmm.
now they was talking a lot of bullshit, a lot of this and that, but I have other questions. Now the guys were all mainly trash this season, but if you had to pick one guy, who you picking, Ish?
I can't say none of them, right?
Nope, you gotta pick one.
I'm gonna have to go with Thomas.
Oh shit, Corny Thomas. You gonna be dressing Thomas, Corny Thomas.
Corny Thomas. Because if I want to think of the lesser of the
Evil.
correct, yeah,
Okay.
it would have to be Thomas.
Shout out to you, Thomas. You got picked. You
Yeah.
got picked.
Oh, Thomas. With yourself.
I can't.
Now, how about you?
If I gotta pick one of the girls,
Well, yeah, because it used to be Maddie and her tatas
yeah, it used to be Maddie and her tatas. If I gotta
before
pick one
all
of the
of this.
girls, see, if I gotta pick one of the girls, I'm probably picking Karla. Karla to me is the most sound. Like, yeah, she may
Hmm.
be homeless and she may be a free spirit and she may not cook and clean, but guess what Karla gonna do when I have a bad day? She gonna rub my fucking back
And hop on your dick.
and hop on my dick. So I'm picking Karla. See,
All right.
it's that easy, man. All right.
Okay, Carla.
What's up, Karla? You can come through. You ain't gotta be homeless. I got you. You ain't even gotta cook. All
We
right.
order out.
That's a fact. All
Now you
right.
cooking for Carla?
I might cook for Karla, yeah. If it's fire. What did I say earlier about Lisa? Is it fire? Shit, we not going to underrate fire now. We may underrate or overrate some other things, but we not
Right.
going to underrate fire. Fire is still fire.
Fire. It's fire.
Fire is still fire. All right. Now, the guys are saying, that they're going to still remain friends and still get together and X, Y, and Z. So the question is, can you be friends with somebody who's currently dating one of your exes? Okay.
And I know them,
Right.
or I know them.
You mean you know
How?
that they're dating your ex?
Right, but was I friends with them before? Or
Right.
I was?
Right.
Nigga, I'm thinking,
That's what happened in this situation. We'll do one for
yeah,
both.
I know. I
We'll
just
do
was
one.
really seeing if that was the
Right.
question you were
We'll do
asking.
one for both. So we'll do one. Can you be friends with somebody who's currently dating your ex, who you weren't friends before, but y'all just now became friends and you find out that they're dating your ex? And answer for if you knew and y'all were friends before and then they started dating your ex. Can you be friends with them?
How much of my ex was he?
I can't. He was your ex.
Like,
Y'all was fucking.
oh, just fucking?
No, he was your ex. Like y'all had a thing. It wasn't like y'all wasn't married or nothing, but y'all had a thing. Like y'all had like a 2-year, thing. It wasn't necessarily like a just fucking, but it wasn't like we get married.
Hmm. Yeah, like if I didn't know her, but I'm just now
Right.
getting to know her and being cool with her. Yes, I can definitely do that. I can
Okay.
definitely do that without a problem.
Okay.
The only way I can do it with a person that I know is if that person came and just gave me the courtesy and like talked to me beforehand. They're like, yo, Ish, listen, this is what's happening. And not all the time does things happen that way.
Right.
Like obviously, like,
Obviously.
it doesn't
We saw it.
happen
We
that
just saw it.
all way all the time. Right. Um, but you're my friend. You know that's my ex.
Right.
And y'all done went out on dates or whatever the case may be, or something. Somebody could have said something at a specific time. We're not together, so it's no reason really not to say anything.
Right.
I could be cool with her if she came to me and was like, listen, like, we start getting close. I'm really feeling him and we going through this. Like, can I get your blessing? I'm like, all right, girl, maybe not. Don't let him fuck you, dog.
Okay.
It's like, let me stop. But I'm being silly about it. But
Right.
like I could be cool. But if you just gonna do it behind my back and then I find out about it,
Well, what if she's like, just like Madison, I was a little scared. I ain't really want to say nothing, especially if I didn't know this was going to be a thing. And then you just happen to find out about it like before she could tell you.
what am I, a barracuda?
I
You can't come talk to me. I'm a fucking
No, this is what I'm saying. It's not a thing yet. Like sometimes it's not a thing yet. So it's like I've been in experience, or I've been in situations where one of my homies, like their exes or whatever, like might have shot they shot at me, or might have like just gave me the open door policy, and like I wasn't thinking about entertaining it, so I didn't tell you because I'm not entertaining it.
all right, but you're telling me now because that's where it is now.
No, I'm saying you
Oh,
just
you're
happen to
saying I
find out.
find out.
Yeah. But I didn't tell you because I didn't entertain it. It wasn't a thought for me yet.
Yeah, I don't really like that. I gotta find out from somebody else. I don't. I know shit happened.
Right.
Like I've experienced it. Like I know shit happens
But that's
and
what I'm about to tell you because, like, all right, and my situation is like, I didn't tell you. Look, once again, I didn't want to crush you.
mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't want to crush you.
Mm-hmm.
So I let you live. I
Right.
let a lot of niggas live.
Right. Yeah, and I get that. And I do see it from both points of views. Like,
Right.
I can understand it. I can sympathize with it. I can whatever. I just don't know how I would receive it. I don't know how I would receive it. I'm going to be honest because for me, like, there's always an opportunity to pull a coattail, in my opinion. Like, that's the good thing for me in regards to like adulthood sometimes.
Right.
Like, if you gonna pump the brakes on something and choose not to say anything, that's different in my opinion. But if it's still in motion and it's still going,
Right.
you may not know what it is. That's the
Right.
thing about adulthood. Listen, I don't really know what this is, but
Right.
something's happened.
Right.
And we moving on those feelings. Like
Right.
I'm not gonna stop. He's not gonna stop, whatever the case may be. I don't really know what it is. And yeah, this might be premature, but I just want to let you know. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's being too honest. Maybe that's offering too much truth. I
No,
don't
I
really
don't. I
know.
don't think that that's being too honest or offering too much truth. I just think it's a sticky situation
Right.
because I don't want to say nothing and then tomorrow we not be speaking again. Like,
Yeah. And if we're not, then that person would be like, I could have fucking told you that. But thanks for letting me know. I don't know. I don't know.
Because
You
it's
know
like
me
this.
in truth. You know me in
Right.
truth. You know me in
It's
truth.
like this. It's like this. Like I don't even try to walk in those muddy waters because it's awkward to me. So it's like I'm I'm cool with, like, I'm not gonna say friends, but I'm cool with one of my, not an ex, but somebody that I dealt with. Somebody that I dealt with like had a little short transaction. Somebody that I had a
Yeah.
little short transaction. Like I'm cool with her husband now.
Hmm.
Like because we do like different business here and there.
Okay.
But I don't like. There's never been a conversation. I don't even know if he knows that me and his wife had a transaction.
Right.
So am I supposed to tell him?
No. I think yeah, no.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Right. I mean, you could tell him if you want to smoke and you just want to see where the fuck it's gonna lead
But
you.
why is it even smoke?
I mean, he might just feel like it's smoke
Right. It's a, that's why
or
people don't tell.
unnecessarily. Right. But see, that's the thing. And that's where discernment comes in
Right.
because you're understanding like what is and what isn't, right?
Right.
But let's just say like y'all was still at it.
Well, we're not. Right.
That's what I'm just saying. But
Right.
that's where
Oh, if we were still
the
at it, then I
conversation
wouldn't
would
speak
need
to
to
him.
be
Like
had.
I wouldn't even be
Right.
cordial with him if we were still
Right.
at
That's
it.
what I'm saying. That's where the like you're going to know, like, okay,
Wait
this
a minute, let's
situation.
stay there. Wait a minute, let's stay there though. So say if I'm smashing, now I'm supposed to tell the nigga I'm smashing his wife?
No, but if y'all are, say, having a business relationship and
Right.
you're frequenting in the presence of one another
Right.
often
Right.
and y'all cool and y'all cordial, cool, that's nice and cool and dandy, but then it's just like, oh, I'm saying, hey, what's up? Da, 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 when I'm smashing down your ex chick or I don't know, whatever the situation is, I don't see that for me is where it gets sticky.
But that's what I'm asking you, Ish. So am I supposed to tell this nigga that I'm smashing
If it
his
was
wife?
still, if it's still going, if it
Right.
was
If it was
still
still
going
going on,
on,
am I supposed
I
to tell
would,
this nigga I'm smashing his wife?
well, you just you either tell them or you don't do business with them.
Okay.
And that's just me saying,
No,
like
I agree with
obviously
that.
people are going to do what they
Right.
what they want to do and what they feel is cool. But I feel like, yeah, either you tell them and you see what it is, like, hey, we can still do business, but I want to let you know what it is. Now, y'all on the outs or whatever the case may be, whatever, or I'm just not. If I don't want to tell them, then I'm just not going to do business with them. I'm just not.
But that's what I'm saying. See, this is where it gets murky because
Right.
his wife is reaching out to me to do business. So do I not do the business?
Correct. No, no. Go get somebody else to do their business. It's like, no, but no, I get it. I get it. I don't know. Like, I guess I really don't know how I would feel in those situations. But me just being the truther
Right.
that I am, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like, I would want to be really upfront
Right.
with people unless it's cut off.
Right.
I mean,
See, that's why I said it's
it's
discernment.
slippery.
It's
Yeah.
discernment. It's a slippery situation because even though like there's nothing there now,
Hmm.
if I tell you that you gonna feel some kind of way.
Right. Right. Yeah. And he would definitely feel some type of way,
Right.
even if it's not active.
Right, because you would be like, this nigga done been to the crib. He know all the kids. Like, you gonna feel some kind of way.
Yeah. That's facts. That's facts. So yeah, I get why you wouldn't
Right.
necessarily,
Like, I feel
but I,
like if anything, that would have been a conversation for her to have with him.
right. Right. So you think it'd be her, like her having that conversation,
I
not you.
think that that's her responsibility while we're doing business or before we have done business to let him know, yeah, I used to talk to him or we had a thing, whatever it may be. but it ain't nothing now. And
Yeah.
then let that decide on if he's still cool with us doing business, then cool. But if she don't tell him, I don't think that's my responsibility to tell him.
Hmm.
He ain't my husband, he
Yeah.
her husband.
Right. Yeah. I get it. I don't give a fuck. I'm telling. Like no, but I'm being silly, but I was in a situation like that like years ago where
Right,
I was talking to a guy, but I had dealt with, somebody, and it didn't even go that far,
right,
but it was almost there.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? It was almost there.
Uh,
And they were like, knew each other very well,
uh,
grew up in the same neighborhood and everything, South Philly, whatever.
uh,
Like, and South Philly is like Southwest.
right.
Like everybody know everybody,
Right, all
everybody
right.
know everything.
Right.
Everybody know everybody, everybody know everything. And I remember when I started talking to the other guy, I was just like, listen, straight off the gate, like,
Right.
listen,
Uh,
blah, 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 blah. And he was like, damn, like, I would never expect you to say that. Like, I wouldn't expect a woman to do that.
Right.
And then at that point in time, like, I didn't know, like, damn, like, did I just, like, what did I do? Did I just, like,
Right.
do something I wasn't
Right.
supposed to do?
Right.
Was he giving me props? Like, I didn't understand what was happening. Like, we still wound up, like, being good friends until this day. But it was just, at that point in time, I always vowed to be just like 100% honest, even though I was confused about whether it was a good thing or a
Right.
bad thing.
Right.
But just like, because what if I wanted to talk to him and
Right.
that came up and just get messy and it just get, so what if he finds a bit of piece of information and be like, damn, this nigga been doing business with me. Like, you see what I mean?
See, I think in that situation, it is always a good thing that you were upfront with the truth. But like when I was a young boy and I used to play ball with niggas, and I found out that niggas is either talking to a girl that I'm talking to or talking to one of my exes, we
Hmm.
laughed about that shit together. It was like it wasn't like I'm mad at you now.
Right.
Like it wasn't, but I don't think everybody handles shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's why it takes discernment
Take.
in those situations because everybody not like that.
Right.
Like some niggas gonna be mad. I remember a nigga was mad because, and this is way out of topic, but I remember a nigga was mad because me and his girl kissed. We was like playing spin the bottle,
Mm.
and he got mad because I kissed his girl.
It's a game. Goddamn.
And if that's the case, why is your girl playing spin the bottle then? Tell your girl don't play spin the bottle. Why you mad at me,
Please.
dog?
Right. Please. Please.
Tell your girl don't play spin the bottle.
Right. I'm playing a game. I'm having fun. Like,
Facts.
what the fuck?
So yeah, niggas be mad, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it. It's a sensitive situation.
Right.
Sensitive.
All right, let's get back into the shit. Well, y'all was privy to some key information. Listen. All right.
Yes.
Now Ike Raw said, you know, he's now enjoying his peace. Um, the opportunity to not to have to answer to anybody, not to have to text anybody back. Are you a person who enjoys your single time and or your single space, or is that a bothersome space for you, or like a lonely space?
No, I never felt lonely. I actually enjoyed it. Like when I have it, I don't have it often
Right,
for long periods of time, but in between like situations,
right,
I always enjoyed it. It is definitely very lighthearted and a good feeling. Just because you don't have to kind of feel obligated
right,
to make sure another person is cool in your midst.
Right.
So I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. All right, now the crew or the guys, the so-called brotherhood that they have now. Um, have you ever became friends with somebody from like a trauma situation, or just like a different kind of situation? Like you know how sometimes people could be like, "Oh, I was in a car accident with this person, and that's how I met them, and now we're the best of friends." Like, have you ever had like a outside situation where you're now friends with somebody?
Um, no,
Okay.
no, I haven't. Mm-mm.
Mhm.
But I've
Yeah.
seen it happen. I've
Right.
seen it happen. Like just that bonding over mutual like traumas. Yeah,
Right.
never
Yeah.
happened to me.
I don't think.
You?
Nah, I don't think I'm friends with anybody through any kind of those situations. It always seems a little weird to me or awkward. I understand it. Like I
Mhm.
understand how people bond through certain traumas, but I'm I'm barely like I don't really fuck with my friends like that. Like so I'm not going to like be extending my hand to people that are not my friends to become friends. Like
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I understand it's just I don't think I would do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
All right, now they brought the experts out. Now the experts come out, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Dr. Pierre, what is going on with the big bag? Why are you so big, Dr. Pierre? What's happening? I
Hey,
first seen
yeah.
it from the back, so I didn't know what was going on. It just looked like she got super big. But
Right.
then we see, that it is revealed that she's now pregnant. So shout out to Dr. Pierre and congratulations and all
Mhm.
that. She said she wasn't expecting to get pregnant. It's just something that happened. Yeah, so I'll apologize just for calling you a big back, because I'm just saying, when she walked from behind that curtain, I was like, who the fuck is
Where's that big
that big
girl?
Joe? Like, why is she so big now? But
Like,
shout out
damn.
to yeah, shout out to Dr. Pierre. And I do want to say, as the resident sex therapist on the show, um, I think that that's a good thing that she would be the one that's pregnant, because I respect that and I salute that, and that sort of like amplifies. She not only walks the walk, but she talks the talk. Like
That's
she
all.
talks to them about fucking, and y'all should be whatever with the shits. And as we can see,
She
she's with
was
the
with
shit. She's with the shits.
that
So shout out to you, Dr. Pia.
Dr. P. Yeah.
All right, shout out to you, Dr. Pia. All right, now in the couples, I started sitting down with the experts, and Alan said that telling people that he was on the show is a big red flag. They look at him as being thirsty. Can I trust you? Are you using me to fill a spot? X, Y, and Z. Would you look at somebody who told you they were on like one of these kind of shows or things? Would you look at them as a red flag?
No, I think that's so stupid. Like, what? You looking at me like, no, no, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard. Because, like, what do my past prior experiences or things that I wanted to try and do that might not have worked out well, what the fuck do they have to do with you? Nothing.
Facts.
What do you think?
I do judge guys, like, as we talked before. Like I judge guys that's on like Tinder and stuff like that. only because it just feels like to me like you ain't got enough game to like just get a chick. Like you gotta go to Tinder.
Right.
Like so I do innately like judge guys just because I just feel like you ain't got no game. Like I just like look
All
at you
right.
like some corny shit. Like
Right. Okay. So the social media aspect of it, sure. But what if it was, what are you doing that for like the TV show situations?
Yeah, I'm judging the guys. Because why you did that?
Why you did that?
Why you did
Nigga,
that?
why you did that?
Like, what? Ish, imagine me going on a TV show tomorrow. You gonna be like, "See what you
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, yo, what the fuck is up?
doing?"
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But let's just say you did.
Right,
Now we know that wouldn't be what T would do. But let's just say
right,
you did and you wanted to, right?
right,
And it didn't work out.
right.
Would you want a chick to judge
Oh
you?
no, I wouldn't want. That's why I said I don't think that. That's why I said it's not a thing about like the girl judging the guy or whatever. I said I judge niggas.
Right, I got you.
I
I
don't think
got
that
you.
a guy should judge a girl who did something like that, or a girl
Okay.
should judge a guy.
Right, but you
I
definitely
judge
judge the
niggas.
niggas.
Like,
I got you.
and
Okay.
you would judge me. You would be like, T, what you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, you right. You right. Definitely. Definitely.
That's what I'm saying, man. So, it is what it is, man.
Right.
Do what you gotta do, people. Do what you gotta do.
Right.
All I'm saying is I'm cool on that. All
Mhm.
right. Now Alan also spoke about doing his changes, and he spoke to they are like superficial things. Like I would never change who I am at the core. And I always kind of like preach this to you and like to
Mhm.
other women all the time. Like don't let your experience or don't let people change who you are at the core. I always try to implement that and try to tell people to stay who you are. Like, don't let people steal your joy, basically.
Right. Right. Yes, you do. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Because I hate when girls be like, I was nice and I was loving, and then the nigga did me dirty, and now I hate niggas. Like,
Yeah.
yo, relax.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that shit is wild to me.
Yeah. Never let them steal your joy.
That's a fact. All right. And also, Michelle was there, and Michelle apologized for being a brat. And she continued on her accountability part or her part and how it played out. And then the experts spoke to, I guess they were saying that to just Michelle and Alan at the time, but they're speaking in general to anybody who's been on the show, comes on the show, whatever it may be, to speak specifically about what and who you want, to be detailed and specifically what you want. And I always say that also, like when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to prayers, you're supposed to speak specifically. And people more or less don't do that, man. um, let's see
I
what else we have here. Yeah, so make sure you're being specific, people. What did I say? What the fuck about? Oh shit! Oh shit! Each look.
yeah. Oh shit.
Eminem and Ike came out, right?
I can't.
And they were like, Ike, what happened? And then Ike said, I feel like she didn't want to get to know me. And I said, what the fuck?
Yes, I went to sleep on that. I went to sleep on that part. I was like, well, I died for a minute, then came back to life because I'm like, what?
I can't. I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, she didn't have my back. I was confused that Ike was saying those things. And then he said, and then they, Dr. Pia hates him the same way she
Yes.
hates David. So she
Yep.
checked him. She G checked him. And then he said, all right, maybe at a certain point, I didn't want her to have my back anymore. And then she
At
said,
the
thank you.
beginning point.
Right. And then she said, thank you for being honest finally. Because she was trying to get to know you and you just wasn't fucking allowing that. You
Oh
weren't
man.
you weren't speaking back. You weren't adjusting. You were just being
Mm-hmm.
stubborn in your bullshit.
Fair.
All right. Now, there comes a turning point. Brandum comes out. And as soon as they announced that Brandum is coming out, Ike rolled out.
And he talking about, so I want to bet. I want to bet.
So so as soon as they said, let's bring Brandum out, Brandon starts walking out. I got up and left. I was like, why the fuck is Ike leaving? They ain't say you had to leave. I just got up and rolled. And Brandum tried to give Ike a handshake or whatever. And Ike just looked at him and then walked off. And it was like, what's your beef with Brandum though? Like, what is I? And once again, see, this is the point to what we were just speaking to, Ish. Why do you have to have beef with the nigga? You didn't want Shorty.
This is facts. This is whole facts.
What's the beef? What is the beef?
What's the beef?
What do you think the beef is? Why is that beef? Why can't you shake Brandum's hand?
The beef is he's a butt.
What?
It ain't no beef. He's an ass. Ain't no beef. He is just a fucking asshole. This is how he's been all fucking season, and that buttery shit that he's been given the last 2 episodes for the reunion, that's bullshit. This is who Ike is. He could not even sit on the stage with them and allow the doctors to ask questions or intermingle conversations or whatever the case may be. There is no beef. He claims he didn't fuck with M or didn't like her or whatever the case may be. So there should be no issue for you to be able to sit up on a stage with them 3 and say, hey, listen, I wish you well. It didn't work out for us. I might have acted like a butt, but whatever. I wish you 2 the best. He couldn't even do that.
All right, tell me what your percentages is. What is your percentages is of Ike being an ass, jealous, or hate? What is your percentages?
Can't deal with the people who are jealous and they don't even want to be bothered with people. This is ridiculous to me. I don't even want to think and say that is possible, because how and why?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
I know. What's the percentage you said? An ass, jealous, and what?
Hate.
All right, for Ike. He's a 60% ass, in my opinion. And then 20 and 20, jealousy and hate for me. But he's definitely an asshole.
That's a fact. I'll agree to your percentages. I'll agree fully to your percentages. All right. What do you think about Brandum saying that he had a bet and he knew Ike wasn't going to be man enough to shake his hand? What do you think about how he reacted?
Like a fucking clown. Like, all right. So, like, I've been on the fence about how I feel about him, right?
Oh, I got some shit. Go ahead.
Like, I've been on the fence about how I feel about him. Like, I automatically, like, was just like, you opportunist. Like, you need to slide into something else. But this episode here, a big fucking ball of corn. Like, he showed how corny he was. He was excited, like, oh, I had a bet. I don't know. He just is corny to me now. And I just think that everything he said and did in this episode, I rolled my eyes.
That's a fact. So I think the experts proposed a great question to when they asked her, is it the guy or is the need like to fill that role? And she actually said, it's the love. It's the love that he gives me. Do you think it's the guy or the need?
I think for M, I'm going to be honest, for M, it is the need.
Facts.
I think it's the need.
That's a fact. All right, so he came out performing. He got the performance of the night. He asked Pastor Kyle could he marry them right there and then. He said, "I don't want to go home a single man." And Pastor Kyle checked him. He said, "Pump your brakes. And we don't even know you, buddy." He was like, "I would have to counsel y'all first before I marry y'all." What did you think about that interaction?
I had personal feelings about that specific interaction. But I will say that Pastor Kyle was 100% correct in
Okay.
how he moved and what he said. But I looked at it two ways. I looked at it from the other end as well
What
because
was
I've
all
been in
that?
that situation. Yeah,
What
I've
was
been in
that?
that situation. Like I have pastors in my family,
Okay. Okay.
and one would not marry me and my husband for
Okay.
that same reason.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
And would not even after talking, still wouldn't.
Fact.
Like not after talking, wouldn't even talk to us.
Right.
Like so I get it, but at that time I was younger and I was
Right.
just like I had real I harped on real bad feelings about that.
Right.
I mean, they probably won't
Right.
because he just want to fucking get married. He
Right.
don't care.
Right.
But Pastor Kyle did exactly what he was supposed to do.
That's a fact. Shout out to you, Pastor Kyle. All right, so she did express that she did get pregnant and she had a miscarriage already
Yeah.
during this year, but still said they wanted kids. And he went into a whole thing about they had a good night off of Hennessy like this. He went into a whole thing like that.
Weirdo ass.
Um I just think that people should like when it comes to like getting somebody pregnant, I don't think that that's a thing that you should rush in. Like, yeah, you could meet somebody and you could have a connection with them and X, Y, and Z. I don't think that you should get pregnant by somebody within the first like couple months of messing with somebody. And more or less, a lot of us fall down that rabbit hole, and I don't think it's a good thing.
Not at all. I agree.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good thing. All right. Now, here's the point where you might see that, he was clout chasing or opportunist, all of the things. He said, "That's my Olivia Pope right there. That's my Tyra Banks. Y'all see how she just got me in this room?"
That's right. I was like,
And I
what
was like, is anybody listening?
like, hello? Are y'all seeing this shit? Like seriously. I was like, what? And did you see when he said that Pastor Cal like grabbed Dr. Pia's
Right.
hand or he hit her or he tapped her or something? Like, do we see this shit that's happening right now?
That's a fact.
A disaster.
Yeah, that's a
And
fact. So,
and Emma's just sitting there like
yes. And oblivious, the Lululand. And the Lululand. Just happy a nigga is saying that he for her.
he
That's
want
all.
her.
Yeah. All right. So like I was saying, man, I'm all for the love and I'm all for showing love, but he was ODing with it and he's always like too hype for no reason. It's just not giving genuine.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's just not giving genuine to me. Never, never, ever giving genuine to me. It's given. I wanted to get off my sister's couch. It's given. You wide open because you feel like Ike like refused you, and what the fuck is that word that they use when you try to talk to somebody and they just dismiss you?
Evade. No, no. Not evade.
Reject.
Reject.
You coming off a rejection, so anybody that would give you like attention, you're just
Right.
gonna be fall for it because you're in a vulnerable space.
Right.
So be careful because you're wilding.
Hmm.
All right, now we spoke about this a little bit earlier, and here's where they brought it up again. Is the timeline important to you? And not in the case of David and Madison, but just in general. Say, because you are a person who wants the truth. Say you're in a situation. Is the timeline important to you?
I think it's only important to me depending on the topic.
Right. The topic is you talking to somebody or you mess with somebody and then you find out they did X, Y, and Z. Is the timeline important to you? Like,
So when you said,
are you a person that's gonna be like, well, when did you fuck that bitch? When did it start?
I'm gonna think it.
Okay.
I'm gonna think it, but I'm not her. Like
Okay.
I'm not gonna ask questions. I'm
Okay.
gonna be like, okay, and then I'm gonna be making my mental notes.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my own investigating. That's how the fuck I am. Watch out for me, y'all.
Pet
I don't
detective
ask
over
questions.
here.
Yeah, I don't ask questions. I ain't no. So the timeline don't matter.
Okay.
And to what you gonna say, I'm gonna figure out the timeline on my own.
In my experience, the timeline has always been super important to women, and they always got the timeline wrong.
Oh yeah,
Always, always.
yeah. Okay, okay.
I'd be like, in my head, I'd be thinking like that was like 4 years ago. You talking to me like that was yesterday. You know?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying too. Like I don't. That's why I don't ask questions.
Right.
I let I let shit. This where people like really don't pay attention. Like the shit gives itself up. The
Facts.
answers always unfold themselves. So you're asking questions and you're doing X, Y, and Z. The shit really just always eventually comes out and lines up. People be so intent on wanting to get the questions answered like right away so that they can say, oh, I see, oh, X, Y, and Z. Like, no, just let the shit unfold. You're going to get the answers the right way. I feel like sometimes when you force people to answer, they're just going to give you what you want to hear.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So
That's a fact.
you're trying to push things because you want to hear, because you already your mind is already going and you're already thinking you know how shit is lining up, X, Y, and Z, and that might not ever be the case. Don't ask no questions. Just let the shit fall.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I'm definitely not asking no questions. All
Yeah.
right. Now, as they're speaking about the timeline or whatever, or they asking about the timeline, first David apologized and he said, I'm sorry for lying to y'all, and I'm just sorry for my behavior in general. And but he said, and speaking about the timeline, don't fucking ask me about the timeline. I was just telling y'all shit. How did you feel about Dave's reaction? Because in one instance, you apologize, and then the next is same very next sentence, you're saying, "Don't fucking ask me about this shit. I'm not talking about this."
That was gangster. That would have been some that would have been some shit I would have said. Like I done answered this shit 15 fucking times already. Roll the tape, rewind
Right,
it, and get the fucking answer because I done said it.
right,
Um, and I get why they were doing it. Like we discussed it
right,
just a little bit earlier, but I thought it was so gangsta, David. I
right,
applauded him for just saying that. Like, yo, listen, chill the fuck out. Like,
right,
I gave y'all all that I'm gonna give you. My fault, Michelle.
right.
My fault, Alan. Let's keep it moving.
Thanks. All right. Now, Pastor Cal, he asked or he spoke to what I thought was a great question. Um, what do you think about what Pastor Cal said to them about falling in love versus growing in love? Which side do you stand on?
I definitely like the growing in love.
Mm-hmm.
I
Expound.
definitely like the growing in love. I mean, because it's easy to fall in love. But I think love lands, the falling in love lands sometimes on the side of infatuation more than it does in validity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I feel like growing in love could be, I'm not going to say could be the key to longevity because you're growing through dislikes, you're growing through differences, you're growing through um, hard shit. Like, and if you can still withstand all of that, maybe on the other end, the end, the longevity, the togetherness, the foreverness can can be present.
Mhm.
When you're in love, you're blinded.
Right.
Like when you fall in love, you're blinded because you're falling in love with the good parts
Right.
of a person. You're falling in love with, you know, the talks,
Right.
the happiness, the good sex, the intimacy, whatever it is that you're experiencing. You're falling in love with all of the good things.
Right.
Growing in love, you're growing through all of the bad things. So I'm with that.
All right. I'm gonna say I have a different spin on that because I've never experienced growing in love.
Mhm.
I don't think I necessarily process that way.
Mhm.
Now, I'm also old enough to understand that falling in love is temporary. So I understand both sides differently.
Mhm.
When it comes to falling in love, I don't, like you said, you're falling in love with the good stuff or you're blinded by certain things. And in any experience that I have where I was falling in love, I understood that this is not going to last.
Mhm.
Like I understand that, enjoy the moment for what it is. And I've never experienced growing in love because um, some of those other things that you said, as far as you getting past not liking certain, I don't get past not liking things about certain. Once I just don't. When I don't like, if I don't like something about you, I'm never getting past that. I that's gonna be the point right there. I'm like, no, I can't fuck with you because I don't like this part about you. We're not getting past this. There is no growing for me. So
Right.
for me, there is no growing, or I've never experienced that. So
Mhm.
maybe I'm on the side in the middle, or maybe it's neither for me
Could be. Could be.
because I take things for what I believe them to be. So I understand that honeymoon stage or that blind falling in love stage, and I just enjoy it for what it is, knowing that for the most part it be like temporary.
Mhm.
And when it comes to growing, I've just never experienced a growing situation.
Right. Do you think that just thinking about it, not knowing that you haven't experienced the growing situation, but do you think that in a growing in love situation that that could be temporary too?
Right. That's what I said. I don't trust either of them because
What?
now you
Mhm.
growing means you're accepting or you're settling or whatever, however you want to word it. It's just like I don't trust either.
Mhm. So when you say you don't trust, right? Like knowing that something may come to an end is different than saying I don't trust in it.
Right.
Do you don't trust in the ability of it, or you just don't trust in the fact that it's real?
I don't trust in the fact that it's real. So it's like
Okay.
when falling in love, like you said, that be people putting their best foot forward. That be people being shit that they not that they really aren't. That be you being blinded. So like I said, I trust myself. I trust in like this is a temporary thing. I trust that this is not going to last. I would wish that it did, but my experiences tells me better, and I'm going to
Mhm.
lean on my experience. So and then growing, I don't trust that because, like I said, that has never happened for me. I've never been in a situation where I was like, all right, I didn't like X, Y, and Z, but we grew. She grew on me. Like, you don't grow on me. Once I see you or once I have a conversation, right, it's an instant thing. Like, it's either that or it ain't that. It ain't no growing. We can still talk and we can still be friends and we can still have conversations. But whatever that negative John was, it's
Mhm.
still right here, and I'm not moving past it.
Mhm. Mhm. Can you also look at it as growing, like just growing through? the differences that couples face.
What are the differences? Give me a scenario.
Let's just say, I want you to get off the bus. And I want you to get off the bus. And you want to stay, I want you to get off the bus and I want you to own the bus and put somebody else on the bus. And you
That
just want to stay on the bus.
I
That's growing
mean,
and we have differences and we grow through them. And we're growing in love and we become stronger after our differences and we come to a happy medium.
see, that's a little bit tricky for me because that's just like I'm going to always feel like, were you being genuine with me, or did you are you only going to love me if I grow?
Mm,
Like, I need you to love me if I want to just stay
Right.
there.
Right. Got you. So growing, even though it can have a different connotation in different like situations, it's still it's still tricky
Right,
no matter which way you chop it up. Like it's
right,
still kind of tricky.
right.
Okay.
That's why I said I've never been in a situation where it's like I didn't like Shorty and she grew on me. That has never happened to me in my whole life. It hasn't.
Right.
Like,
I got you.
either I fuck with you or I don't.
Or I don't. I got you.
All right. Oh, I had Dr. Pierre hates David.
Hey, some with a passion. Dr. Phil do not play. Like,
All right. I don't know if you caught this. This might have went under the radar, but when David and Madison were he and ha ha, Pastor Kyle whispered and said, "Life gonna whip y'all ass. I don't really gotta do
mm,
it."
yeah, I did see that. I heard that. I heard that. He said, sir. Because like everything is like okay, and because they are just like okay, we'll get through it, we'll grow through it, we're
Mm,
gonna be okay,
right.
and it's like okay, see,
Mm,
wait and see,
facts.
wait and see. You're still in your honeymoon phase. Wait and see.
That's a fact. All right. As we get to the final circle, um, as you predicted, Alan said his mom is still crying.
Told you. I said, I said, Mama Allen is fucked up. She is fucked up about this.
That is hilarious to me. Like, that is fucking
That's
hilarious.
hilarious.
All right. Also, what I noticed in the final circle was that Alan still loves Madison. Why does he love her so much?
She was the best thing that ever was gonna have happened to him.
That's a fact. Did you see that? He was about to cry when she was just speaking. He was about to cry when she talked about her and David living together. Like, every time they panned to him when she was like speaking, his face
He
was
was
like,
like,
"Nigga
looked like the
can't
Michael
hide it."
Jordan meme,
Yes,
where he's sitting here, he was like, he about to cry.
yes. He ain't got no poker face. He can't hide shit.
Yeah. Hmm.
And he's still so in love with Madison. It's just crazy. It's just crazy.
Mm-mm-mm.
Shout out to
Alan ain't
Alan
never gonna be
because
the same.
that's a fact. He was like, people was in his DM saying that they think he gonna kill himself. And I said that. I was like, I said that. I told y'all this nigga should be on
Yes, you
suicide watch.
did. You did say that. He
This
tried to
nigga.
play that shit off real good.
Yeah, but you can't play it off and then be about to cry when she start talking.
I know. Hilarious.
You can't hide that shit, nigga. I
Hilarious.
cannot. Shout out to Alan, man. I hope he don't kill himself. But if he does, I won't be surprised. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I told y'all so.
Okay. Nah, shout out to Alan, but if he kills us, no, I will not be surprised.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All
I
right.
can't.
Then Michelle said her friend took a shot at Juan. So she said her friend DM Juan and was shooting at Juan. And I thought to myself, one of Michelle's friends was kind of fine. Where's she at?
Where's she?
Where's she at though? Because Juan don't want her. Juan is gay.
Why?
I'm just saying, Juan don't want her. Juan is gay. He loves his little fat jaw, but that's just a bear. Juan is always just looking for a bear. He really gay.
Yeah, facts. I don't know if I trust in the fact that Juan really likes women.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Fact. Maybe he likes cartel women.
That's a fact. All right. Yeah, free Juan from the cartel.
Right, fact.
Last but not least from the circle, Luffy gotta go.
Luffy was just a mess. We saw a lot of shit that we didn't really see in the season. We saw some shit that we saw, like that we've seen, but then there was other things that was just.
Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever messed with a guy? You went over his crib and he just got like an out of control dog or some shit. No, never.
Never.
You lucky.
Nope. Never.
You lucky. You never dealt with an out of control pet.
Nope.
Out of control kid.
Nope.
Where the fuck has you been at, Ish?
Chilling. Chilling. Nope. I never had.
I cannot.
You have?
Yes, all of it.
Out of control kid.
Yes, I stopped messing with a girl because her kids broke my phone before. Like, yeah, I've done with it all.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah, the out of control pets. Like, yeah, no.
Why would you even let your kid touch my phone? Like if I was asleep or
no, this is what happened. Like this is old school days when you used to have your phone on your hip.
And they would pull it and grab it.
And broke my shit.
Like, nope.
Yeah,
gotta go.
I was out. I don't got time for this shit.
No, I never had those experiences. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, you lucky.
Mm.
You fucking lucky, man. All right. So we got a little bit of sneak peeks, I guess, for the final episode. And I was so confused because wow, we got a final episode.
I was like, wait, they just pulling.
They reaching, trying to get any fucking rating.
Last minute rating.
Yeah, right. they reaching, but I'm here for it, I guess. And what did you think about all the sneak peeks? What did you think about Tom? Oh shit! This is the main point I wanted to tell you. I told you that Camille wasn't sucking this nigga dick. The first thing fucking Thomas said, "It's just not as passionate as I thought it was going to be." That means I'm not getting my dick sucked, Ish. I told you.
I can't. You did say that. You have said that throughout the entire season. I tried that even last episode. Say, she giving a little licky. She giving a little something, but yeah, it don't look like it's it don't look like it's as glorious as it seemed to be during the season where she seemed a little.
I wouldn't even say it's not as glorious. It's just like it's one of them things with Camille. It's like, you know how Camille said she used to like roughneck niggas. So a roughneck nigga, she's gonna feel like I gotta suck the roughneck nigga dick because of his bravado. But because Thomas don't have that bravado, she don't feel like I gotta suck his dick. So she ain't sucking his dick.
Why don't you just want to suck his dick?
I applaud all the women that just want to suck dick, but majority of women don't fall in that category.
Right.
Majority of women suck dick according to the guy.
The guy. Well, damn, Thomas. You said that though. You did call that. So I am interested to see really what's the nitty gritty of that conversation, because come on, Camille, get your shit together.
She don't got to. She be like, why I gotta suck his dick? He happy with me. I'm telling you what it is.
Suck his dick, he happy with me.
I'm telling you what it is. That's how they think.
Listen,
Like that nigga should just be happy to be in my presence, basically.
right?
I don't
Yeah,
gotta suck
no.
his dick. That's what it is.
And men, you shouldn't think that you don't have to eat pussy either.
I don't even know
And
how
that
women.
is okay.
I don't know how women let that joint go either.
Like,
It's a lot of letting go that I'm not in
oh
approval of.
yeah, yeah, that's facts.
It's a lot of letting go that I'm not in
Not
approval
not saying, oh, but she liked me. I don't have to do that.
of. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a
No
fact.
bueno.
All right. What else? What else have we seen in the sneak peek? Do you want to talk about Juan
Um,
and Karla?
Juan and Karla. Where do you think that road is headed?
First of all, Karla looked like she put on a little bit of weight in that
Yes.
joint,
She did.
and it seems like I said earlier, Juan and Karla are being better friends than they were husband and wife. But
Hmm.
I also seen that Karla is like Juan is helping her do a business or whatever it may be. And it's just like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. And then, then you fast forward to Juan's damn video
Right.
from a few days ago. Like, what is
Facts.
happening? What is happening with them? I
Facts.
know. I
And
don't
who was
know.
the chick with them? Do we know her?
I didn't catch her face. Like,
Okay.
yeah, that wasn't somebody that I remember seeing. Maybe if I see her again, it'll pop into my head. But she didn't look familiar to me.
Okay.
She didn't look familiar to
All right.
me.
So are you in approval of Juan and Karla doing business together?
Fuck no. Not even as friends. Like, Carter should have been sticking to her
Facts. I'm not.
shit.
I
Like,
don't want to be friends with you,
I
Juan.
don't want to be friends because look
Facts.
where it's gonna end, or look where it's ending. Like, no, she should have just like,
You good? You over there dying?
she should have just been
But
like, thank you. She should have just been like, no, I'll do my own business shit. But she did say that, he's passionate about his businesses, he's very analytical. He does seem to be like a very
on that shit.
driven businessman.
Right.
And she probably was like, let me tap into that energy. Let me see if, he could direct my shit. Da 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 da. But I think that's a recipe for disaster sometimes. You gotta know when to separate the two.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Uh-huh.
Did we miss anything from the sneak peeks? Let me see.
No, we see em and Brandon still that shit. I don't even know what was going on in their little sneak peek, but they was there. Do you remember it?
Um,
Not really. I think they just flashed them. I don't think they really
yeah,
got into like what was happening.
I feel like the nigga is trying to use. I don't feel like he's trying to abuse her, but I feel like he's definitely trying to use her. So I won't say use and abuse. I just say he's trying to use her.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I don't even know if I feel like he's a plant.
A plan.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I feel like he just
I
like
said that the other day though, but go ahead.
yeah, I feel like, he's a plant, whether it be by her,
By the
like
show.
or by the show. I feel definitely like he's a plant. Um, I think his storyline that he was just getting a divorce and all of that, and now he's ready to hop into so quickly into another marriage. Not that that can't happen, but that sends up red flags to me in regards to a guy who is just ready to hop right into a whole nother marriage after a 10-year marriage and two kids, and you ready to just hop into another marriage that this is so the love of your life. Stop.
And them ain't the love of nobody's life.
Mm, exactly. So I don't know. I don't know
Them is not the love of nobody's life, man.
at all.
I just want to say, wrapping up, if I was in this group, I would not be in this group.
If I was in this group, I would not be in this group. Which one would be? Off to the side?
Yeah, they would never
Mm,
see me again. I was like, what I gotta show up for?
yeah, but they really all want to keep in touch,
Right,
except the ones who ain't really going to keep in touch. But
right.
they all want to see and do things and be invited to and a family and a brotherhood,
Yeah,
especially Thomas.
Yeah, I would be like, I'm not fucking with this shit. Y'all fucking wildin'.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I did my time and I'm out. Not fucking
Facts.
still hanging with these people.
Exactly. Facts. Facts.
Any last questions or comments? Shout out to Married at First Sight.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I felt like this part two was just, a nice wrap up to just, seeing some haven't had scenes that we haven't seen before, things that we might not have heard before, especially in regards to like Juan and Karla. I think I really like their session with one another because I think that they both said a lot of things about each other that we didn't hear before throughout the season.
That's a
Just
fact.
like how Carla like appreciated some of the characteristics about Juan. Even her facial expressions didn't necessarily align with her mouth at times because she
Right.
probably was like, this for my nerves. And then, Juan showing some appreciation. We hadn't really seen that from them throughout the season. So there were a lot of little tidbits in the episode that I felt was, cool. And it was cool to see and experience and to hear. So I'm interested to see this last little episode. I'm scared that they're going to say, and next week on Married at First
They're not gonna say it next week.
I swear, because I was like, okay, they wrapped it up. It didn't go out with a boom like I would
Right,
have liked. So they're
right.
gonna wrap it up, and then I see next week, and I'm like, next week? What the fuck? We ain't done yet.
Like we just had 2-part reunion. God damn.
We had an episode before the
Right,
reunion. So we
right,
had D-Day,
right,
then we had an episode,
right.
then we had a two-part reunion, and now we got another episode. So, I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So
That's
I'm interested to see what next week brings and
that's a
how they're
fact.
gonna wrap up the season.
All right, my last question for you would be: I know you're one of these blind people, so it's like you're a person who like you could look at people and they not be attractive, but it don't register to you. Like you're a blind person, like in that manner. So I want to ask you a question because are you dying or are you laughing?
No, I'm dying. I'm
All
laughing,
right.
dying, laughing, dying.
So as Juan is saying that Carla wasn't his type and he's not attracted to her, and like how do you just feel about people like views on attractiveness? Like how a person could be like, J Lo,
They fucking retarded, blind. They retarded and blind. Um, I don't know what I think or how I feel about them. I just think it's stupid. Like, I guess, I guess Shallow Hal is perfect, is the perfect reference. Some
okay,
people just don't visually have that sight
all right,
for what is truly appealing.
all right,
Maybe I'll say that, not necessarily what is beautiful,
all right,
because beauty to everyone is different. I
all right,
get it. But what is appealing,
all right,
they could think like that the most appealing person or the most person ideally beautiful is just not it.
right,
And you just like, what? But
right,
then they would pick someone who is like half-ass,
right,
and you're like, huh?
right,
Where? I don't see it.
right.
So I don't know. I just think they're blind. I don't know what other way to say it. I know I
It's
feel
so weird
retarded.
to me. Like it's just so weird to me. Like I'll never understand it. It's so fucking weird to me.
Right. What do you think it is? Do you think it's shallow howism? Do you think it's blind? Like, what is
I
it?
don't think it's shallow how is I'll explain it to like this. Like this is a conversation that I had with my son probably when he was like 16. Like my son would be like, yo, you know why I don't like light skinned girls, man? Because it's just too much.
Because it's just too much.
Like they getting too much attention. They think too much of themselves, and you just like, I'm not dealing with that. And I think that's how people people might see a person like Rihanna and be like, I'm gonna downplay her because I wouldn't think I got a shot.
Okay.
One of those kind of things.
That's one of those kind of things. Okay, got it. Got it. That's lame.
Right.
That's whack. That's lame. That's lame.
Right.
I think that's where people start like allowing their insecurities to then become the reason to give someone else insecurities. Because if you have people like that, right, and then they like, well, you ain't cute, or you ain't this, or that, those type of not smear tactics or whatever, not smear, because that's not smear, but just like, what am I thinking? Like attack you in a sense. Like I'm gonna pick at you because I'm insecure.
Right.
That's what that feels like to me.
Right.
That's what that feels like to me. And then in turn, by you doing that, you may not even know the person.
Right.
But if that person hears it through the grapevine or
Right.
sees it in social media, then they become a little
Facts.
insecure about themselves. So it's just
Right.
like a domino effect in a sense.
Facts. Facts. I just get lost in the context of like, there's just some people like Karla's like a naturally beautiful girl.
Mm-hmm.
And you may say like, I like girls that got better bodies than her or whatever, but I'll never weigh body over beauty. So you can't say somebody's not attractive because they don't got the body. Or I guess you can say what the fuck you want to say.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, I would never say somebody's not attractive because they don't have the body. Because they're still beautiful. Like even some fat Jones are beautiful. And you can't say that she ain't beautiful.
Beautiful, right?
She's fucking beautiful.
Right. Right.
And so that's the part of it that I don't get.
Yeah. I mean, it's stupid to me.
Right.
It's like, y'all just retarded. Y'all just blind and y'all dumb.
Facts. Facts.
Blind and dumb.
But yeah, like I was saying, on the men's side of it, a lot of women don't see, like, because maybe the men don't like show it in front of y'all, like their insecurities. Like I know niggas that's gonna pick the ugly girl out the crew every time. Every time.
Because it's easy.
Right.
Or they just don't want no what comes on the other end of an attractive woman.
Right.
Yeah. That's so lame.
And I feel like as a woman, I wouldn't be comfortable with my guy if he did that to me. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable like being your girl. If I was a girl, I wouldn't feel comfortable being your girl, knowing that that's like how you picked me.
How you picked me, right? No, I wouldn't be comfortable in that either.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be as a female. And like we talked about this before. Yeah, not everybody can think that I'm attractive, and that's fine. But I wouldn't want nobody to pick me because I'm the less attractive out of the lineup.
Right.
Like, no thanks.
Right.
Like, just go pick somebody else that you find less attractive. I'm cool.
Right. Yeah, I think that's weird, and I think that people just like you get into a point where you just be happy that somebody picked you, and it's like,
right.
But you don't even know the reason why they picked you.
Facts. And then not only that, I feel like too, if you picking somebody based on that, then that means you're gonna treat me however you want to treat me because you feel like you're above me.
Facts.
Like now you can like. You can maneuver this whole bull train.
That's a fact.
No thanks.
And that be the reason why they picked you, because they
Right.
know that they can. That same shit you just said. They know that they can do that with you. And the fact that you like are cool with that. That's alarming to me.
That's all right. Yeah. Mm-mm. But people
So,
do be cool with it. Like
right. That's why when I. That's why.
my man.
Right. That's why when I speak on attractiveness or beauty, and people be like, "It ain't that deep," I'll be like, "You don't fucking know how deep it is."
It go real deep. It go real
Facts.
deep. It's real deep.
That's a fact. But that's what it is, people. This is our Married at First Sight recaps. I guess we got one more episode for y'all. And then each said probably another one they gonna say next time. Oh,
And another one, they gonna come up with some shit. Next one is gonna be wild.
they gonna be like, next time, 3 years later, we get to see what the couples are up to.
I can't.
So that's what it is, people. Thanks everybody for joining us and sharing in our Married at First Sight recaps. I hope that y'all are taking in not only the show and the entertainment aspect. I hope that y'all are learning some things just about people in general, also about yourself, and that you are just like, how can I word this? Like when we do recaps, it's like we talk about the show, but we also, talk about real life. So I hope that you are taking heed to the gems that we are giving and offering, because a lot of people are like in their own little spaces of the Lulu, and at some point we gotta do something.
Yeah.
I just said earlier, like I was like, my mom was like, what are you trying to do? And I was like, I'm trying to help the people. Like these people need help.
Trying to get people to think different, to open up their minds, to broaden their horizons about relationships, life, love, themselves. That's right.
Right.
That's
I was like, I'm trying to help the people. Like, so it was like, you could continue to go through, these times in denial. And it's like, a lot of people don't realize that you're self-sabotaging. And while you're self-sabotaging, life is passing you by. And then you're going to end up living your last times alone when you could have been experiencing and having fun with somebody, whether that just be a companion. It don't necessarily have to be a lover, but you standing in your own way basically is what I'm trying to say.
That's facts. That's facts. And if a conversation, a thought, a scenario or something can help people come out of that in which they try to stay like all their lives, is definitely a benefit. So keep up the good work.
All right, people, we out here until the next time, and then the next time, and on the next episode of Married at First Sight.
Exactly. Hilarious. That's all hilarious.
We will see y'all next time, people. Y'all have a good one. Deuces.